Hello friends and welcome to my channel where we mainly discuss thrillers on Thursdays. I don't think I've ever sat down and filmed and uploaded a video on a Saturday, but that's what we're doing today because I didn't have time to film this week. But if you guys watched any of my videos in 2018, you will know that my favorite, I don't even think I picked a favorite book of 2018. All I said was that my favorite author, hands down, of 2018 was Karen Slaughter. She's my new Gillian Flynn, although I probably shouldn't call her that. But you guys know how much I adore Gillian Flynn and I love Karen Slaughter just as much. So I've already reviewed quite a few of her books on my channel, but today I'm going to be reviewing what I'm pretty sure is her newest book, I think, and that is Pieces of Her, which was published in 2018. And I have to say, I don't know what accent that was, but I have to say I'm pretty proud of myself because I feel like I'm always at least a few years behind on new releases. So reviewing a book that was published in 2018 in 2019, I feel very proud of myself. But this is going to be a spoiler-free review as usual, so we're going to go through a summary, pros and cons, and then of course the creepy branch rating. So for a brief summary, you guys know if you've read any Karen Slaughter books, most of her books are thrillers that are very graphic that also happen to center around the relationship between two women. So some of her books are about sisters, some of her books are about friends. This book is about the relationship between a mother and a daughter. So the daughter's name is Andrea. She's, I think it's 31 years old, and she's a bit of a mess. She doesn't know what she wants to do in life. She completely lacks self-confidence, and her mom has always kind of babied her a little bit and really taken care of her. And so at the start of the book, she's kind of moving home from New York City back to Georgia to stay with her mom for a while. And one day, and this is right at the beginning of the book, they go to, I think it's a mall, and a shooter comes in and the mom just takes him down John Wick style, which is a shock to everybody, and it kind of goes viral really fast, but it's especially a shock to Andrea because she knows her mom and it makes zero sense to her that her mom would know how to do that. So the book takes place between two perspectives and two time periods. It takes place during the present day from Andrea's point of view, where she's kind of going on the run, I won't say why, and following these clues to figure out who her mother is and what her mother's past is. And then the other perspective is her mother, and you're learning why she became the way that she is, what her backstory is. I forget the exact year, but I believe it takes place in the 1980s, and there's some political intrigue, so it's really interesting and really different from other Karen Slaughter books. So first, getting into some pros, as much as Andrea did irritate me, and that's, you know, just slipping in a con in there, that she did really get under my nerves with some of the decisions that she made, I appreciated that for once Karen Slaughter just had a completely weak character. I mean, obviously she grows and becomes stronger by the end of the book, but I feel like often Karen Slaughter's protagonists are these really strong females who have maybe kind of one fatal flaw, but it's really rare that I feel like she has a main character who's female who's just incredibly weak. And so as much as it's irritating seeing some of the decisions that Andrea makes, but it also felt kind of realistic. Like a lot of the decisions she makes are realistically, let's just face it, the way we would react in the situations that she's put in. This was definitely the least graphic Karen Slaughter book that I've ever read, and it kind of made me realize that I do enjoy her writing, even if the book is more of, say, a thriller than a horror novel, because a lot of her books are so terrifying that they really lean more towards a gory horror novel. This was definitely just more of a thriller. I also learned that I really love plots where protagonists are just kind of on the run. Andrea basically has to get in a car and just completely drive west, and there's something really exciting about that. Maybe it's because I have to move a lot, so I'm used to kind of picking up and going to new places, but I just learned that I really like that plot mechanism, so that was really fun to read. I also enjoyed that even though there is a little bit of sexiness, a little bit of romance in the book, it isn't overshadowing the plot, and I'm not going to say which character I'm talking about. If you've read the book, you know what I'm talking about, but it's kind of fun the way that they do it, and it made me happy that the central focus of the book are the characters and not romance, because I think in a lot of other books that definitely would have overshadowed the character and become kind of the focal point, but that's not the case here. And now I want to get into a little bit of the cons, and I really only have two, I guess. One, as I said, Andrea does get a bit irritating, but my main con, as much as I loved the mother's perspective back in the 80s, I think In terms of her specific section, the beginning is really interesting and intriguing, and the end is very like intense and gripping. But the middle I found really slow for her mom's section. And I'll say this in a way that won't spoil it if you haven't read it, but that there's a relationship between her mom and another person, and it feels like they have kind of the exact same conversation throughout the whole book, where she's kind of unsure and this person convinces her, she's kind of unsure and this person convinces her, and it goes on and on over and over again. So that for me dragged a little bit, which is strange because when you look at the two plots of the mother and the daughter, you would think that the mother's plot would be so much more interesting, and I think a lot of people do find that section more interesting. Maybe I'm the outlier there, but for me it did get a little bit slow. So overall, I absolutely loved Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. I think it's really unique compared to her other books, and overall I would give it 4 out of 5 creepy branches. So although this was not personally my favorite Karen Slaughter book, I still really loved it, and definitely know which out of Karen Slaughter's books is your favorite, because I believe I've read The Good Daughter, Pretty Girls, Last Breath, I think it's called, whichever the prequel to The Good Daughter is. I've read Cop Town, so definitely let me know which your favorite is, especially if it's one that I haven't read yet. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to my first kickboxing class, and I am not looking forward to it. You know what, that's part of my brain. The other part of me is a little excited, so I need to focus on that, but we'll see how it goes. But again, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys next Thursday.